Good morning from Los Angeles, man. I'm back on the mainland. Your boy Joey J. Ping checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. We're here on an episode of, this is a custom episode of the New York Cannabis Podcast. Our episode today brought to you guys by SparksCan.com. I've got a very special guest today. We've got Jayson Tantalo. Jayson is one of the co-founders, big boss dogs over at Flower City Dispensaries there. Victor, New York is the town or the city. I don't know. We're going to figure out how big it is or how small it is here in a little bit. But they're in the city called Victor, New York. They got a dispensary there. Jayson's, he has his own, what's it called? The grow up stores, like when you guys, what's that?
The hydroponics store.
Hydroponic. They got a hydroponic store out there in New York, and they lead this group called NYCRA. I don't know what all the letters stand for except for NYCRA New York, NY. I know that one. So we'll talk about NYCRA and the latest with them. We're going to talk about Flower City because the last time we spoke, Jayson, y'all weren't open yet. So it's been, it's 2025, man. It's a whole new world with dispensaries and all these different things. New York's got 450 dispensaries open is what they say. I don't know if that's true. We'll talk about that. But Jayson, bro, good morning, man. How you living, man? New York? Happy fucking 710, dog. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, kid?
Man.
I know you were, you were saying like, earlier with regards to how many times we've spoken, right? But we feel like we know each other. And that's because of the community and the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it don't matter where you are, like you're in Cali right now, I'm in New York. So it's like we have this bond and the cannabis plant, whether you fucking smoke it or you hustled it or you're operating a dispensary, we all share the same bond. At least most cats do anyway. And that's why we get along.
I would say, bro, our bond even goes beyond cannabis because you know what I love more than cannabis? I love people, bro. I love humans. I love energy. I love seeing someone smile and get happy, whether that's because they smoke a joint that they like or whether it's because they got a gift, a free little surprise. Like it could be a pin. Someone's so excited, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday, someone said I was at an event. They said they lost a vape that they bought in the morning. Came back, bought 2 more vapes. I told the brand ambassador, he gave the guy a free gram. The guy almost cried. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like, I love people, and I know you guys love people, man. I know you, I know your wife, Brittany. I know y'all love helping people, which is why you're a part of NYCRA, which is why you're helping sell weed to people. It's why you've been a part of this for basically most of your life, right? So,
yeah.
Jayson, today we're going to talk about your guys' dispensary, Flower City Dispensary. First off, Victor, New York. Where the hell is that at in terms of New York City? Like, the airports or whatever. How do I get there? And what's it been like launching a shop, dude? Congratulations.
Thank you. So Victor, New York is about 22 minutes east of Rochester.
Okay.
So it's about, from where I'm at, it's about an hour away from Syracuse.
Okay.
And about an hour and a half away from Buffalo.
Okay.
So if you're looking at like where we are in comparison to New York City, we're fucking 5.5 hours away.
Woo-wee.
You know what I mean? And that's on a drive. On the airports, it's an hour banger. Like that, it's an easy swing. Get on the flight and go. But when you got to drive, it's 5.5 hours.
Wow.
How's it like opening up a dispo? Well, I can tell you, I've been in this game since I was 14. If you would have asked me in 97, 2003, 2010, 2015, if I would be standing here right now in my dispo with a legal license, I would say, fuck no, you're out your mind. But New York State, they came out with this initiative for justice involved individuals. My wife and I, we both qualified for that role and position here in New York State where we can apply for a license. We are a woman minority-owned business. I have a daughter, and I love my wife, and I believe firmly, in standing strong behind, principles. I was born and raised in these streets of Rochester. I mean, we're number 2 in homicides, number 5 in poverty in the country. So, like,
wow.
I
didn't know that about Rochester, man. Everybody always hears about the Bronx or Brooklyn or these different boroughs in New York City. And of course, now Newark is the butt of every joke, right? Yeah. And so it's like, You don't really hear Trenton, New Jersey. I've heard all over, the YouTube dangerous videos or whatever it is, but you
Yeah,
don't really hear too much about Syracuse and Buffalo and all that. The only time I've ever heard about Buffalo being, really about it is I want to say Benny the Butcher. No,
yeah.
so
I mean, he's gangster.
yeah.
I got his flower on my shelf.
Oh,
We support, we support real industry cats.
wow.
Know, have I met him? No, but I know associates of his here in Rochester. Some of these stores
Yeah.
are affiliated with him, and he's good people from what I
That's
hear.
dope. I didn't even bring him up because I know that he has a product. I just know, I mean,
Yeah,
as a fan of music, we talk
yeah,
about culture and people that exist and overlap and transcend, whether it's music, sports, cannabis, or just business, right? Like you are a
yeah,
businessman through and through.
yeah,
You
yeah,
happen to choose cannabis out of passion and interest, right? And who you
yeah,
surrounded yourself with at the times. And then grew into the new varying levels of this said business, right? This legal format that exists. And
yeah.
you mentioned how uh, uh, people that have had, what was the phrase that you used? I said people that had gone to jail or prison and social equity, but you used a certain word that was a little bit different. To me, it
Yeah,
seems that was maybe some of the verbiage in the legislation. What was that word you
it's
used?
justice involved.
Justice involved.
Yeah, and you can see, fucking look at what's happening. I believe it's in Cali. They're taking people's licenses away because they were justice involved. Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? Think about that. Like, what are we? Are we repressing back to like the old days where you can't get a liquor license or some shit because you were convicted of a fucking. I don't even know, bro. I don't even
It
know.
would
Like,
appear just based on that one question alone, that the simple answer to that is yes, we are going backwards in a variety of ways as of today in society. It would appear additionally that it extends beyond the color of your skin, your
yeah,
visa, your immigration status. It appears it goes into these other areas of business, politics, community, public safety. A lot of public safety stuff is supposedly the issue now where they're protecting America or whatever it is. Just seems to be a lot of change overall, for better or for worse. Um, New York, I have seen you guys going through a variety of things over the last few months, last few weeks, days. It's one of the largest, if not the largest city in America. I always forget if it's LA or you guys. I'm pretty sure it's you guys. But you guys got to deal with so much. And NICRA, you guys are helping, hundreds of dispensaries get it, get licensed, get properly set up, maintain compliance, all these different resourceful, helpful elements that you guys contribute to the space. What have you guys been working on lately with NICRA, with the team, with the community, with the group, with whatever the mission is? What's the current focus for you guys, and what have you guys been up to?
so, I mean, with the New York Cannabis Retail Association, this is going on, or like fucking, we organized back in what, late 22, restructured late 23. So this October will be like 2 full years of NICRA. I mean, we're focusing on specifically now is elevating our strategic partnerships to give our members more resources. In the beginning, the community were we were all kind of like, like, I don't even know how to put it. We were fucking trapped in this industry.
You were
Where,
all of you guys were in like at the same starting
yeah,
place with
yeah,
limited resources and a
yeah,
very narrow path.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
narrow path.
It was fucked up, and you know, I say it every time. The person that really inspired, my thought process with this push of giving resources is Tahir Johnson. From Trenton. He owns Simply Pure.
He's
I
amazing.
connected with him in 20, and then I asked him for his business plan before. This is a pre-application for New York, and he sent it right over. When I realized that we were trapped in this fucking cycle of lack of everything, I'm like, I reached out to a few people, connected with some people, and then we just started building our community. And because we are justice involved individuals, we tend to stick with one another because of the levels of stress that brings upon, like, whatever we're doesn't matter. We could be chasing this license, going in bankruptcy. We could be, losing our businesses. So much shit was happening to so many people, and the regulators were not there other than in the public eye, acting like they were saving the world. They were saving people for sure. I don't want to take away any of that because look, my wife and I were just as involved, and there's over 200, 300 justice involved individuals right now that are operational, right? So
Mm,
they did do something profound, and I believe like if this was done a little differently, the program probably would have rolled out a little better. However, NICRA would not be here if that was the case. So,
yeah.
because of the downfalls in our community, we had the opportunity to change the narrative a little bit here in New York. So, right now, we're trying to rebuild the aspect of resources for our existing and new members. So, like this time last year, I had over 100 people waiting to come into the association. However, I can only do so much myself. My team has all become operational. They can only do so much themselves. So we're looking for interns that want to help push, the this tranche of, relaunching. We're looking to bring in. Um, we streamlined this process. Our web developers, massive shout out to Prosper Media, our developers for our website actually took our website, redeveloped it, and now anybody that actually joins the association goes right into our access portal, which we use Discord. So those that are still waiting to get on board, go to New York Cannabis Retail Association.org and get yourself registered, because you can just click a button and go right into our access portal without having to text me and then I'm doing all the vetting. So we're building that out. We're launching the new strategic partnerships. We're building relationships right now with ancillary companies that,
The goals have changed and the
yeah,
resources have to change and adapt over time, it seems as well.
yeah, oh yeah, 110%. Before it was, oh, look at Dutchies coming into New York and they're going to give free services and they're going to help do this and they're going to help do that. That was great, but look at 95% of the businesses, including trees, that came into New York, right? It was premature.
Yeah.
It was fucking so premature. It wasn't even funny. So anybody that lived that in the ancillary world, they're looking at it like, fuck New York. There ain't no money to be made. However, guys, anybody out there with ancillary businesses that are trying to streamline processes for our operators, doesn't matter what link of the supply chain they fall on, excuse me, we need you. We
Yeah.
need your services. You know what I
We need,
mean?
we need options. Y'all need different personalities providing maybe the same solution, but maybe it is different way. Maybe it's organized. Maybe the dashboard is different. We there are so many different types of learners, right? And there's a lot of different types of doers, Jason. And we all do, like you can't get mad at somebody for doing the exact same thing that you're trying to do a different way that produces the same result or better, unless it takes longer and is less
Yeah,
efficient, right? And even then, it's like when it comes to resources and these ancillary companies and just trying to provide help, the goal is to streamline. But there's all these different things that we're trying to cross off or achieve. It all leads to this point
yeah,
of we got to make money in this business, and we got to make
yeah,
a lot. We got to make enough money
yeah.
frequently enough to be able to cover the damn taxes, right?
Yeah. That was a objective number one for me as an operator that runs businesses is how can I break down my costs to cover some spreads, right? So on average, it was like 10%, equity, or excuse me, oh, sorry, I got a delivery here. See, we're in full fucking operations.
You're
Let me
good, dude. You're good. You're good. You don't got to worry
so
about
for me as an operator, it was how am I going to cover that spread, for my margins of profit.
that.
So when I look at the big picture and I have these strategic partner opportunities, that gives me and my members the chance. So on average, if it's 10%, well, now it might be 13 because we took the unity of our community combined it all as one, basically purchasing power play, and that's why ancillary is really important to us because, like, we don't want to fall victim to collapse because we're at 9% margins after everything's all said and done. Even the difference of 5% at $5 million, I mean, that's $250,000. You know what I mean? So like that's a big that's a salary.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of labor for one person or a variety of people potentially.
Yeah, yeah. So like I know it doesn't seem much, but we sticking together and really developing this community that we did. We still have, it's growing faster than we can keep up. I mean, even our lobbyists, like we lobby now. So like since 2000, late 2023, Vince Marone. I mean, I can't tell you how many people he's helped in New York actually materialize their license because of our organization, and that is like super important because we actually pay for a lobbyist to help our members, and he's on payroll. He's the only one that gets paid in the organization, what rightfully so. This is a community thing. Nobody should make any money unless they're putting in real work, and like we lobby on paper for the governor's office and the Office of Cannabis Management. If you would have asked me fucking 20 years ago, 15, 5, that I would be doing this, coming from the streets to, hustling in Albany, I would be like, fuck no, you're out of your mind, you know. But the
The
politics,
truth, though, that's the truth.
yeah, the politics of this game is nasty, and,
And,
and, I, and I
and that's
fucking
that's
hate it.
that's what I wanted to touch on here next. Is it seems like cannabis is much more than just cannabis, and it also too because we are in legal business now. It seems that it's also more than just business, as like it you just for face value. You know what I mean? You use that word politics, and we use words like community and lobbyists, and it's like wow, we're having to really do a lot. Can you speak on some of the things that you guys had to overcome? What like going into the this dispensary launch because you were in the first wave of things coming online and all that involved via the Niagara world, but you were definitely in the wave of dispensaries in that 2 to 450 sprint versus the first wave of 200, right? So it's like, what was some of the challenges that were real for you guys at the timeline that applies to Flower City?
Yeah, so I mean, the challenges that we faced was communication with OCM. Uh,
Mm,
and anybody can reach out to our members that have had issues with communication with OCM in the governor's office. Unfortunately, if you're not a part of organizations like ours that actually impacted, the, I guess I don't even know, like the legislative side of things, it's going to be hard to achieve or reach your goals because people are waiting a long time to materialize or to become operational. For me, it was like I got my wife and I, we received our approval in July. From July until the middle of November, we could not be operational. So if you look at that span, that's like, and like that's just a fraction. That's like 6 months or 5.5 months, whatever it is, right?
yeah,
Of
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
trying to get communication from the regulators. So I would be ready, and then they would say, "Oh, well, we need this or we need that." And then it was, well, I thought I already gave you that with my application. Oh no, that was pre-selection. Now you're post-selection. So now you need this, that, and the third. So like that's why being a part of communities, and it don't even matter where the fuck you're from.
Yeah.
There's organizations out there, and they're lobbying for your best interest. Whether it doesn't matter what link of the supply chain you fall on,
Hmm.
you want to join them, even if it costs $100 or $50, because you'll have a voice at the table. That's what's important to me is when I realized what was happening here in New York, I already pivoted into the legal industry, throughout the country with my wife with Medivac. So like, but when I realized what was happening here was is they came to my city OCM did, and they were excluding cats like us. They
Yeah.
didn't. They considered me and my peoples, or me and my friends and associates, to be the problematic, the issues. So when I realized that, that's when I got upset, because how are you going to exclude me when I come from CDI communities, when I come from the culture, and like when I'm actually teaching my community how to be a part of? Are you going to try to exclude that shit? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, and they did. The regulators almost were successful, bro. Like, we were one of the last ones to get issued a license, and the regulators, some of them didn't want to. We qualified. They took it personal that we were organizing. And that's the
They're like the person vetting it is like, all right, yeah, I know this guy, and instead of, oh yeah, this person's, this, let's see what they're really all about. It's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like, no bullshit, Joey. Look, our application we submitted in of 22. Okay, it was in the same status it was in July of 24.
Wow.
Okay, but
Sitting
meanwhile,
on someone's desk, sitting in someone's fucking folders and shit.
yeah. But meanwhile, over 200 and like 30, 50 people were licensed in the year July of 23.
Wow.
Why was that? Think about that, right?
Yeah.
Is it because we organized, we changed the dynamic of the culture? Like,
Thankfully, you guys did that. I mean,
yeah,
otherwise, I mean, even if who's to say that it wasn't still going to be that long of a wait? Because there have been lots of people waiting for either their licenses or their approvals, pre, post, whatever it is, right?
yeah, yeah,
That I won't put it out there. I definitely am leaning more towards, like, especially if you were already doing the advocation and doing the resources, and maybe being outspoken, because I'm outspoken. Maybe that rubs some people the wrong way and causes issue to bad wrong person, right, terrible place, terrible job. Maybe they're the vetter, right? For example,
yeah,
don't get, but like that's the world we live in, is people and relationships, and you guys are out here doing it your way to be helpful, doing it your way to be successful, with the culture behind you, with experience, with a community, having built it currently and actively still building it. And I think
yeah,
that's something to really be applauded and appreciated. And that's one of the that's ultimately some of the biggest reasons why I always think about you guys in New York. Whether it's like, all right, cool, like let me go creep through what the events that they're posting about. Let me go see who they're sponsoring. I just for us, I'm just trying to find people that are doing it out there, and who's got good cannabis, people that are doing it the right ways, because that's where I choose to put my money typically. You know what
yeah,
I mean? People that got cool shit too. I like dope looking brands and stuff, and
yeah,
some that have cool social media experiences or that do cool events. And New York is very creative. Jason, let's switch away from the Nycra convo. Let's go back to Flower City. This is something that you, like we were talking about, it all Nycra and what you do with the Cannabis Retail Association, your efforts there, your experience in the streets, hustling, you know, working at the having your hydroponic store, helping growers. Like, it all has led to this, Jason. You have a dispensary now, and
yeah,
it's in this place. It's out where you described, right, all the way out there up in the cuts, about an hour and a half from where you're at in Syracuse, you said.
yeah.
And so you've got this dispensary now. Brands that you're carrying, can you list some bangers maybe that people will recognize? Like, are you carrying like the heirlooms of the world and the Kivas, or like what's the menu looking like, dog? Because I'm coming through eventually, and I gotta spend money when I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the menu is very diverse.
Hmm.
We classified our shelving in a way where it's categorized. Some dispensaries, they flood the shelves with every single individual brand. So then the end consumer can recognize the brand just by visually walking by. My wife has curated a special approach with like only allowing like 25 of those brands to have shelf space. And we believe anybody that we put on our shelves, they support us, the community, and we support them and whatever they bring to the table. I have bangers, bro, that are not on the shelf because my customers love it. shelf displays, and we move units. But what we want to do is elevate the local guys. Like I've got him in the center of my display, walking the pines. He's a Rochester cat, right? So
Mm,
like he's being emphasized in the most expensive real estate that you can find in the dispensary, this center floor, right? We're trying to elevate the brands. I got a Canandaigua, which is about 20 minutes east of me, micro business. I got him and from the beginning under top New York brands. Because why? When I cracked that jar and I took a smell, I took a whiff of his flower, it brought me back to 2001 with
wow.
that terp profile and the way that the flower represented itself. So, like when you're looking at brands on our shelves or in our menu, we're very in particular on who we do business with, and we will carry some of the biggest brands when we find it necessary. But
Yeah.
this industry is so infant. Why would we have the biggest name in the market?
Whew, excuse me.
Bless you. Why would we have
Herb
the biggest
sneeze.
names in the market just because they're brand recognizable or recognizable on the streets?
No,
Um,
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense, and I can appreciate that. Uh, Ultimately, how you choose to build community doesn't always have to include the biggest brands. An example: you don't go into every grocery store and see the same orange juice or milk or fruit or whatever from every company always the same, right?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
obviously staples, Heinz ketchup, right?
of
That you're going to
course.
kind of see, and that's the general American choice, right? But for the most part, there are very, very few brands generally in the world that are at that status that we
Yeah,
would know. I think Heinz probably one of the best in
yeah.
terms of
I
like
mean,
they
I
cut
can
through.
I can tell you this: we don't carry any ROs,
Mhm.
registered organizations. We do carry, like
What is a registered organization, Jason? I'm not
those are
familiar with that
those
terminology.
are the medical operators.
Okay.
We do have MSOs, multi-state operators, like shit, man. There's a bunch of them, but
Well,
it's
I mentioned one like Kiva's. Kiva's an MSO, technically speaking.
yeah,
They're a great brand, great people, but they are an MSO.
yeah. We've got Kiva is one of the main distributors for one of the products. Dude, I have 600 plus SKUs, right? So like the ones that stand out are the ones like I don't know, fucking Rolling Greens and House
Mm,
of Sachi,
yeah.
and Rolling Greens. I remember when we brought him into the first Nycra event in Brooklyn, and he had that sour D's. I grew sour D's for 18 years, right? So when somebody says they got fucking sour D and I smell it, shit don't smell like sour D's to me. When I cracked his shit open, it was like, holy fuck. Now the kid is, I think he's up in number 10 in the state with his brand. Um,
Wow.
House of Sachi's always good. Sky World is pumping some indoor flower. Uh,
Okay.
Wavy was one of the first indoor flowers that we carried. There's just so many I can't like.
No, that's great. These are all, this is,
Anymore.
I mean, Jason, what's exciting is just to be able to hear you talk about brands and give people clarity on what you think is quality, who's, making moves, some, even just sharing that one data point about this one brand being up at number 10, that gives people the ability to go find and search and look for these groups because a lot of people, a lot of us want great flower, just like you,
Yeah,
dude. We want to be
yeah,
able to smoke, vape, dab, all the best products out there, and we want to be able to sometimes smoke all their different strains or try through all their flavors, right? And things like
yeah.
that. What are you noticing about the community in Victor? Are they smokers? Are they dabbers? Did they just come in buying drinks, or have they been slow to drinks like some places? Give us a little bit of a visual of what people are getting out there and how much, like what's the top categories, because you guys are a category curator.
Yeah, yeah. So like when you're talking about drinks, obviously Heirloom was the first. High Peaks, Tune.
Hmm.
There's another one, Level Up, I believe. Now I have probably five different SKUs. I like
Nice.
to like brands that focus in on drinks because I don't like to just offer just one. Like and I love the heirloom drinks. It reminds me of childhood going to the fucking corner store and grabbing an apple juice with the
Yep.
foil container, right? So like I love the apple juice from Heirloom, but then High Peaks came out with a sugar free. So like we're trying to really give our customers sugar-free drinks or mixes that are flavorless. Like Heirloom has a good dropper tincture that you can put in to any drink, right? The nanotechnology has
Yeah.
shifted. I remember when California came out with this shit, and for the wine industry, but with this now it's changed so much, but it's crazy. So my customers, we're at about a 53 percent rate flower right now. They love the flower. What would be next is our vapes. They love the vape, the discretionary of just being able to pull it in their office.
Love
Um,
vapes. I love vapes. Got
yep,
always got a vape on me. It makes me feel like I'm like I always got my emergency medicine, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, to having your cannabis being discreet, even when it's around your kids or even your parents. Like I got, 35-year-old, lawyers coming in, and they're literally like, my parents don't even know I smoke, so like I need a vape that doesn't have any smell. Like, or they don't want the weed smell; they want the terp smell because they're in their office and they rather have it smell fruity than like weed, right? So and then our next is our pre rolls. We bang out units of pre rolls, infused pre rolls. You'll be surprised. Like in the beginning of this tranche in New York State, it was all hemp bullshit flower, right? It was that flower grown by hemp farmers. No
Yeah,
disrespect.
that's what they allowed for the flower
Yeah,
farmers first, correct? Was that?
right, right. And that was a horrible presentation. And I can get down into the politics. I was a grower, commercial scale for many years, and like when I was seeing what was presented as flour here in New York, I was always pushing back on that.
You're selling your soul to have to sell that at that point.
Right, right, and I mean that's why the streets flourished. That's why the gray market flourished, right? Because there was no opportunity for real flour. But now, bro, now it's a totally different fucking ball game. Now we're seeing high quality that is not inverted. Fucking the product looks like the straight street weed, street candy weed from us growers that are fucking putting out units that are bomb. You know what I mean? So now it's changed, but they like the flower, but they love the infused pre rolls. They love the pre rolls. The dog walkers. We have a company called Flower City
Yeah.
Cannabis or Flower City something. Um, and I know the owner. He came out with these 1 gram bangers divided out by three, put them in a 1 gram tube. They're not
Mm.
bent, they're not broken, they're pretty. Dude, I can't keep them on my shelf because it
So
gives
it's
some.
3.3 stacked.
Yeah, yeah. 3.3. They're in there.
Oh,
They're in this fucking tube, like the normal
cool.
tubes, and they're just in there, but they're not bent, nothing.
Smart.
And my customers love it because they can just, literally pull on it 6, 7, 8, 9 times, throw it, and then they don't have to put it back in where you get that nasty smell of a roach.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
that's see that right there. That's innovation. At a very small creative twist on something. Not reinventing the wheel at all, but definitely presenting it in a really attractive way. I can't wait to see that. That sounds dope. You definitely want to check that out. Dog walkers, super fire. Got a comment here from YouTube. 100% agree. I love small joints. I don't roll 0.25s. I probably roll 0.75s, and I roll three of those or five of those a day, and constantly just bang through those and keep working just because of the time it takes to do.
Yeah, it's a
And
process.
yeah, for bigger ones. And it's not like I can't do it or can't smoke it. I don't have an issue with that. It's just trying to
Yeah,
manage the amount of cannabis consumption versus productivity,
yeah.
um, and calls and all that busy stuff. Let's talk about the staff. Let's talk about your culture there at the shop, Jason. I know you guys are real big on culture, building community. What have you guys been up to in terms of like the people you guys are hiring for the store? What would you describe like the experience and the culture that that you guys are really trying to emulate there?
Yeah, I mean, the culture that we have is insane. I mean, it's inspiring when I walk through the door, and it's ours. It's my wife, and it's mine. When I walk through that door, I feel like like it's a dream because like I'm walking into something that is amazing, but then I'm greeted with the same smile, the same presence, the same attitude every day. My community, my wife does all the hiring, but like we've got justice involved individual that I believe went to prison, but he's also military. He's one of our bud tenders, so he understands, order. And this is an opportunity. My wife is even some of my wife's cheerleading coaches are in the vault, hustling and understanding the dynamic of what it is to be in the industry on the legal side.
Mm-hmm.
I even got a retired math professor in the vault, working, under me, and then the person in the back, he's actually he works for me at the hydro shop that you keep seeing coming in and out. His name is Guy, literally Guy, but he is transitioning into here because ultimately we will be closing the hydro shop. It's been a collapsed market across the country. I mean, this ain't nothing new.
Yeah, the
Anybody,
big they have to order commercial sized things, and we're seeing less and less homegrown. I feel like.
yeah, it's phasing out here locally as well. So he's over here now in the vault. My bud tenders are amazing. I just hired somebody I used to hustle fucking quarter pounds and half pounds to for 15 years.
Let's
Um,
go.
like we're really,
Literally familiar at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
you working with somebody and seeing somebody for 15 years. It's like, yeah, bro, I know you. We can trust you. Like, let's get it. You know.
yeah, and trust is a borderline factor for us here in the store, in our culture. Our employees trust our judgment because of who we are in the industry. I mean, nobody can say one bad thing about me, in the streets of Rochester, or in the country, because I don't really fucking, I'm not for that whole drama shit. But like that's how we are here in the store. You got a problem, come talk to us. We're transparent. We'll get it rectified. And if we have to go our separate ways, we have to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
No hard feelings. See you later. Goodbye. But I'm direct. That's why I don't handle so much with, the front of the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I speak different. I'm cut from a different cloth. See, there's Guy right there. That's
He's
fucking
out. Big shout out to you, guy. Yo, we appreciate you for all your cameos on today's episode, brother. Appreciate you. Man, just I want to take a moment to shout out our sponsor and also just shout out you, Jason, and Brittany as well, and the entire team there at Flower City and what you guys are up to. I haven't had to make the sacrifices that you guys have done. I haven't had been around long enough, didn't make the decisions to have to do the things that you guys did, either in the streets or to hustle to get to where you are. I don't advocate the same way that you guys do at NICRA. But my role here is to amplify and promote, and that's what I've been trying to do since I got in cannabis back in 2016, as a regular bud tender and as a brand ambassador for Leafly, right? And so just helping share knowledge, using my research, my skill set, marketing, promotion, content to help share the right things. And it's dope to see you guys both doing NICRA and helping share resources and build community and do the event, which we're going to touch on the events you guys have been doing, and the size and scale of that seems to be continuing to grow, and the popularity of that continues to scale and gain increase there. But then balancing NICRA and what you're doing there with this dispensary, it's just inspiring, man. And I think I'm happy for you guys, having been there next to you guys, with a booth there at MJ Unpacked. We're looking back, 3 years, 4 years at that point. So
yeah.
it's cool to see you guys and what the industry's become. Um, Pivoting back over to NICRA away from Flower City, you guys have these big events that you guys have been up to. Talk to me a little bit about that. What's the purpose behind them? How'd the last one go, in your opinion, and kind of some of the people that are involved?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to the events, it's a great question, dude, because a lot of people they get the concept, but then they have questions in regards to why we even do them. We do these events specifically to bring the culture, the community, and the people together to learn more about what legal cannabis looks like, is, and will be, right? So, super important to us to throw these events because we're bringing brands to the streets or from the streets to the industry. And
Yeah,
then we're also showing and showcasing what they are and who they are to the invested stakeholders, whether it's their competition or whether it's the retailers who need to connect the dots. one of the main reasons why we formed the organization was for this specific reason, and that is if you don't know somebody, you will never get what you're looking for. And
Yeah.
that's the main purpose of these events, is to bring in somebody from Buffalo to New York City. And if you look at Skyworld, then you'll see, we brought in Skyworld from Buffalo. I'm not saying we put them on the map at all by any means. What I'm saying is connecting the dots of that indoor flames to somebody down in New York City, and vice versa.
It
Like,
all adds up, man. You meet
yeah,
one person, you meet five. I've had
yeah,
$100,000 sale days at a Hall of Flowers because I
yeah,
met saw all my current retailers in the same day, and then I got another like 5 or 7 in the same day. Right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
shit can change your life to go to the right event and have. I would, just like the movie, The Perfect Storm. You can have the perfect storm of positive things happening
yeah,
if you've done it incrementally, and then
yeah,
one big thing happens all at
yeah.
the same time. Right?
Yeah, we've been told that our event has changed their lives, forever, and like they're forever thankful. We're not looking for thanks. We're looking for them to be
That's
sustainable.
impact. We're looking for
Yeah,
impact. We really
yeah,
want to help you. Well, I
yeah,
appreciate the help. Keep putting in the work, though.
yeah,
Got to
yeah,
keep showing up. Got to
yeah,
keep being a part of it because it's just because it happened once doesn't mean
yeah.
that that's all going to be consistently around. Jason,
Right.
a key word. It starts with V. Volatility.
Yeah.
Cannabis is
Oh my
volatile.
God, I don't even want to talk. I used to tell the
Oh,
wife, I say, yo, bro, look, I used to tell the wife every time I cropped, right? Like, this money is not guaranteed until it's in our hand. And she's like, well, what are you talking about? You're looking at fucking XYZ pounds. And I'm like, no, it's not guaranteed until the money is in our hand. And like the volatility changes every time,
yeah.
every season, every this. And you can see it. You can see it in the legal industry. It mimics and replicates exactly what we were doing on the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come before the holiday, bam, everybody. After the holiday, oh fuck, man, I spent $500 on my wife today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't come in and buy my $200 ounce. I gotta give me an eighth, and I'll see you next week. You know what I mean?
The
Like, so it's
the
crazy.
trends, patterns, behavior. I'm not an expert in anything. I went to a slack Division 2 school, barely got the degree right, but I took a couple sociology classes, and what those things taught me is people definitely, groups of people in large quantities think alike. There's very similar thought patterns, and there's all these different things in terms of trends, and we see it happen all the time today. Now, obviously, faster because of social media, where very quickly large amounts of people do some kind of behavior, whether it's
Yeah,
for
yeah,
funny or we're talking about, you saying, but we move fucking units of this thing. Well, those
yeah,
are categorical patterns at that point, right?
yeah.
And so let's talk about that real quick and what you're seeing similarly between the culture, the streets, and decades plus of experience there, growing strains, selling strains, whatever. And then in the hydro store, all these different people coming in for different things and you hearing it and your network, right? Then NICRA, then you hear all these other perspectives. Now we're 450 stores in and, all these events and all these things that you've learned all coming together now. What have you noticed that are similar and different between the streets and the culture and current adult use cannabis retail?
It's a great question, man. I've never been asked.
That's it. That's the weed speaking for me right there. The weed wants to know.
Yeah, the weed wants to know. All right, so the weed's gonna ask you again. Can you repeat that question?
Okay, so what would you say is the difference, like one key difference or
Yeah,
one key similarity between people that buy weed in the streets and
yeah,
what you've recognized there over time
yeah.
versus dispensary culture, adult use, current cannabis life?
Yeah, I guess it's the access. The access when you're in the streets, you're limited, right? You're limited to who you know and who's going to help you get it, and you're restricted to how much you pay for it, right? It used to be, oh shit, dude, you're getting this bag, it's 3 grams, take it or leave it. It's 3 grams, $50, take it or leave it,
Yeah,
right? Now it's like they have a mentality because of the flooded the input of all the exported goods and cannabis from the central North America and fucking meaning Oklahoma,
yeah,
California. Now their perception has changed a little bit in regards to access, but like to be honest with you, I'm still transitioning my customers I've had for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not even exaggerating you. I was camping back in fucking, I don't know. I was camping, shit, maybe, oh man, I want to say like 6 months ago. No, not 6 months ago. But whatever. Long story short, he had to come to my store and he was buying half ounces for $200 for 25 years. Okay.
Wow.
And like, I'm like, look, I have a license now. I'm like, I can't serve you. I don't even know where to get it at this point. Like, you have to go to my store. And I'll tell you this, it's now $200 all in for a whole ounce.
Yeah.
Shut
Wow.
the fuck up, right? That's what he said. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, no. I'm like, you might have to drive a little way, 30 minutes east. I'm like, but that's where you're gonna get the access, So, and then the diversity of cannabis is now much more broad in our stores and the
Hmm.
retail legal side, and the safety of the diversity. Before we all became operational, right? It was, well, you have diversity in only a few selected stores, but you have diversity and unsafety in all the gray market shops, right? So now it's like it's changing. I believe that the street, unless you are in the hood, right, and you're still trapping, anybody that comes from culture or the hood, they're coming illegal because you
Yeah.
can buy the butcher bangers for $50 plus tax. You can buy real life bangers that's fucking 32%. And real life is one of our brands. And you can buy that eighth that looks bomb for fucking $26 plus tax. You know what I mean? So like, so it don't matter if you want an ounce for 60. Nobody's spending like, or excuse me, an eighth for 60. Nobody's spending $75 an eighth like it was,
Yeah.
or after tax 65, whatever. Nobody's spending that.
There's enough weed there now, and cannabis, just good flower overall, that we've seen the cat like the top shelf, or we'll just say the shelving curated price points have all shifted or adjusted a little bit
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
lot. Would you
a
say the
lot. Like,
$75
yeah,
eighth is now 55 or is it 65?
yeah, yeah. Price compression has definitely started here.
Okay,
I got 1 gram distillate 510 carts, $35 plus tax out the door.
there we go.
I mean, I remember I used to sell fucking 200 of them a week. I used to make it myself, and they were fucking, they were like 50, $60. At some point, they were $70 a gram back in
Yeah,
2018.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so like, you know what I mean? So now here in the legal market, and the quality of the hardware is not fucking trash. So my customers, I've sold probably, I don't know, let's just hypothetically maybe 1,000 units in the last 4 months of all 1 gram. Maybe seven have come back. You know,
Wow. So you're
yeah.
seeing, at least from your standpoint, you're seeing a less return and fail rate as well.
Oh, of course. Even on the 1 gram bangers, you're talking like $35 out
Are these
the
disposables or are they cards?
carts,
Hmm. That's
carts.
that's promising. That's
Yeah,
positive.
yeah, and the quality, dude. I
I
got
see
this.
you with your Nick vape there. Do you
Yeah,
guys do you guys have is the popularity and boom of all-in-ones, did that also is that translating to New York as well, because we did see that
yeah.
rise in most other states.
Yeah, the AIOs are big. I carry probably 18 different brands across the line,
Wow.
live rosin to live resin to distillate, and we bang them. We bang them out like water. 510 carts, we bang them out like water. I don't even sell batteries here, right? I believe in a philosophy: you don't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Mm,
So like, I owe people money. I'm paying everybody back before I buy fucking batteries for these 510 carts. Even though I know it will generate revenue, it's not like a necessity. So like I don't even have swag. You know what I mean? Like I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
trying to tailor, to what my customers need. But yeah, we're moving units, kid.
That's
That's
exciting, man, and I appreciate you giving us so much insight and sharing so many different perspectives here. I've taken this conversation all over the place, bouncing back and forth between Nigra and the retail. It just, but for you guys, they go hand in hand. So you can't, without bringing clarity to both sides.
Right.
To me, when I think of you guys and I see how you guys move, you can't, with you guys at this point now that both entities exist, both you're playing two games and they kind of have to overlap for both of them to continue succeeding. The brands you're carrying, they should participate in NICRA to become better resources and to know your community of retailers,
Yeah.
especially considering that they're all justice involved for the most part, right? So it's like that's a great opportunity to create a certain type of partnership for the right reasons, right?
Yeah.
And so that's huge. I also want to take a moment to shout out our sponsor here, as I went ahead and said it earlier, and then we got into another part, great part of the conversation. Big shout out to SparkCan.com, man, for giving us the platform to share these stories, to amplify this. SparkCan is our premier marketing agency partner, folks, for Google, Yelp, Weed Maps, and Leafly. They just recently launched a program with us for their Google injection tool. 7-day trial with them. They'll help really jack up your SEO aspects to the point where you'll have new business coming in pretty much immediately. I can't sit here and guarantee it. You just got to sit here. You got to take a call. You got to take a meeting. You got to check it out. And also, they became a Yelp advertising partner, and so Yelp gets quite a few million views each month, folks. And you guys should be taking advantage of that. If you are spending money on Weed Maps or Leafly to make sure your advertising gets out and about to people, Yelp deserves it. And hello, we also have Brittany back. Let's go. Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you? Welcome. Happy 710. Happy belated
Yes.
420.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations on the store, because I haven't talked to you in a minute. So congrats, everybody. That this is so exciting.
Thank you so much. It's still surreal. Sometimes we literally stop and we're like, holy shit, are we really doing this right now? And even our staff, growing up in the culture and
Yeah.
experiencing all that we have, it's just like this connection and we laugh and it's dope. And it's been great to bring it to our community. We have older demographic in our region.
Mhm.
And they like to be able to not travel far. In New York, it gets dark at like 4 o'clock
Oh, wow.
in the winters.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys are pretty far up north, so that's got to play a little bit of a factor into things like that.
Yeah, so it's nice to have a local place here, and we're happy to provide that and the education. So it's been awesome and growing every week. So it's cool.
When was the official launch? How many months in are we, guys?
It was December, right?
November 15th.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, so we're at 10. We're at basically 8 or 9.
Yeah, we did the grand opening December 13th.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just about approaching 8 right there, man. That's so exciting. Well, I'm very happy for you. I know, having been following your guys' journey for the last few years, I'm very appreciative, and I said Brittany to him, it's inspiring, right? I definitely haven't had to make the sacrifices, and I think people like you guys. Not only are you helping other people through the New York Retail Cannabis Association, what you guys have built there. Now you're physically helping people every day with illnesses. I'm someone who's had kidney stones over 15 times in my life. I think I'm at like 18 or something like that.
Wow.
And Crohn's kidney stones, IBS. It just kind of sucks to eat most foods at this point in my life.
Yeah.
The variety of products that you've mentioned, that Jayson has mentioned on today's podcast episode, that solves my problems. You know what I mean? Those are, whether it's the CBN, whether it's the drinks or the sleep this, or whether it's just having the variety of strains and flower options. Knowing that I can go there and be okay and be myself is something that does relieve stress, and it does help put somebody like Victor on the map for me. You know what I mean? And knowing that there's a dispensary there, I can drive through this town when I'm doing my adventures in New York, and be able to pick up and pull up and maybe catch you guys out there. And so it's dope, man. Congratulations for everything, for all of it. And Brittany, he said you're curating the hiring and the people there and the culture. Now I can get a great quote from you. Talk to me a little bit, if you have a moment. What's it been like building out a team of people there that the whole purpose is just to help bring cannabis to them and solve their problems and help make them, that's the best part of a lot of people's day,
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, we've really become family. We share ideas. We learn from each other. We all have vast backgrounds, different age demographics, so different perceptions of cannabis. So we really teach each other. Some come from a medical background working in medical dispensaries. Some come from the street. Some come from,
Yeah, we got some of Jason's homies, he said, and some of your friends too, which is dope, right?
yeah, I mean, cannabis touches people in so many ways, and through that, their experiences, right? And they have these skill sets. It may have been illegal, but you were still doing business, and you still understand the dynamic of what has to happen here.
Yeah.
What's new is the compliance part, but everyone here is very professional, mature. They appreciate the opportunity to be doing this, so they don't take that lightly. And it's been cool to see them grow because they learn from brands that come in and educate. We do activations. They get to try products as bud tenders. So they really, really understand, New York grown cannabis.
It's important to know the cultural elements there. I think it's a balance between this like retail and customer service, right? And like being a cool, not necessarily like a cool person, but like we're there at the dispensary, man. People gotta like you. They want to get involved. They want to know some things. There's got to be a vibe. You know what I mean? It's got to all vibe or whatever.
100%.
Every vibe's different at every store, right?
Totally. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I'm excited. Well, Brittany, I appreciate you. Jason, thank you again for your time. I'll let you get back to it, man. I know we interrupted a little order. I saw Guy there running around. You guys are out there serving the customers, man. So we'll let you get to it. I appreciate you guys so much. We got Brittany here as a guest. We've got Jason here as a guest. The Tantalos, man.
Tantalos.
Tantalos.
Let's go. Come on, man. Make sure you all visit Flower City Dispensary there, Victor, New York. It's up there towards upper New York. It's in the cuts. But if you guys out there in Buffalo, if you guys happen to be out there, upstate Syracuse areas, you might as well slide over. You might as well go support. You heard it here first, folks. Make sure y'all go tap in. Jason shared a bunch of great products. Brittany, do you have any 3 recommendations for the people? Your top 3 before we go? You got time? You got time for 3 real quick?
There's so many. I really love the Dime Vapes. Shout out to Dime, to
Let's
the
go.
Moon. Fan of all their products. New York, Legacy Illegal. Love those guys. They have the Flave Vapes, the To the Moon gummies. Their flowers always on point. Another really good one. What am I smoking?
Last one. What you smoking on? What you smoking on?
What did I just smoke? I smoked a Hudson Cannabis infused sour unicorn.
Dang, folks, she's out here with the sour unicorns, man. New York got that. I ain't never heard of that. That sounds fun. Let's go. Thank you guys again for being a guest on the episode. Big shout out to our sponsor, Sparks Can, New York Cannabis Podcast, folks. Respect my region.